Hello and welcome to the Friday edition of mmtoda. Mongolian government and business officials are waiting to see how the Mongolian economy will be affected by the United States development package to be signed later this month.
Called the Millennium Challenge Account Compact, the package of $285 million in development aid for Mongolia over a 5-year period. The pact will be signed by President Bayer and President George W. Bush at the White House. Commenting on the compact, a newsletter of the Business Council of Mongolia noted the grant will fund improvements to the railway system, healthcare, vocational training and land registration. It will be a catalyst to stimulate greater private sector success in Mongolia and is expected to lead to increased revenues and provide efficient, sustainable services based on a market economy model. At a recent press conference, U.S. Ambassador Mark Minton said he expects the MCC to attract additional private investment to Mongolia.
Brokerage firms in Mongolia report increasing interest in Mongolia by overseas investors, with Mongolia's economic growth racing at over 7% annually, and with foreign property purchase rising. The Mongolian Stock Exchange is also seeing increased interest by foreign investors.
Sources say in the last month alone, over 10 new overseas accounts have been opened up by a brokerage firm. Also, following the impressive rise of Chinese and Vietnamese stock markets, there is a considerable interest in the Mongolian stock market. And it's not just overseas investors who are buying shares. The brokerage firms see a lot of Mongolian entrepreneurs and businessmen joining the trend.
Just a generation ago, wealth in Mongolia was considered a sign of corruption. Most rich Mongolians hid their fortunes, fearing that the government would confiscate their money or put them in jail. But today, nearly 2 decades after the democratic revolution that transformed the country, though many people still don't like to talk about their wealth, they aren't ashamed to show it off.
Dozens of developments and penthouses have been built in Ulaanbaatar in recent years. Just one of them, massive Golden Village development, contains over 150 homes, costing about $300,000 US. Their proximity to center of the town makes its ostentatiousness all the more striking. A peek inside these villas, which embody New Mongolia's infatuation with foreign lifestyles, or at least its image of them, offers a view of what it's like to be rich in a country that is still coming to terms with being poor in name. With obvious Western influences, the compounds are also uniquely Mongolian.
Stocks in Europe and Asia declined after crude oil rose above $90 a barrel for the first time. Deepening concern high energy costs will erode economic growth. U.S. stock index future dropped.
Crude oil surpassed $90 a barrel for the first time and is set for the biggest weekly gain since March, after the dollar traded near record low against the euro, enhanced the appeal of commodities as an investment. The dollar fell to a record low against the euro today on speculation the U.S. housing slump will tip the economy into recession, forcing the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates again. The risk of owning European corporate bonds rose, according to traders of credit default swaps.
Chinese President Hu Jintao's apparent failure to command a solid majority in China's new Politburo Standing Committee, the country's 9-member highest governing council, to be endorsed by the current 17th Party Congress, is a signal that he is wielding less influence than his predecessor Jiang Zemin at the height of the latter's power, experts say.
This will render the cautious current leader even less likely to take bold reform measures, especially political liberalization. He may also take tougher stands on Taiwan and Hong Kong to marshal the support of the generals and to solidify his grip on party, state and the military. In the absence of political reform, the party cum military apparatus could resort to what party publicists euphemistically call non-peaceful means to enforce harmony both at home and in China's neighborhood. And experts say Mr. Hu's shifting power within the party might constrain his ability to oppose these elements.
The stable master of troubled sumo star Sashori confirmed Thursday that the grand champion's return from Mongolia had been delayed by injury.
The 27-year-old Sashori returned Mongolia in late August for treatment of stress after being suspended for skipping an exhibition tour with a dubious foot problem. He had been expected to return to Japan before the end of this month to wait out the rest of his ban, which expires after the next regular tournament in November. But stable Master Takazago said Asashiro would stay in Mongolia while he recovers from an ankle sprain and a niggling left elbow problem. Asashiro's stable master also said that he hoped to have the wrestler ready for another provincial tour in December.
Our next main story, gold reached the highest since January 1980 as the dollar fell to a record against the euro and crude oil rallied. Silver also gained. The dollar traded at 1.43 per euro in Singapore from a record 1.4310 in New York yesterday. Gold, which often moves in line with oil, is favored as hedge against inflation, while the weaker dollar boosts its appeal as an alternative investment.
Analysts say gold is likely to push towards $780 when London and New York comes in later 0.4% to $771.10 an ounce and traded little changed at $769.19. The precious metal reached a record $850 an ounce in January 1980. Silver for immediate delivery gained 0.2% to $13.84 an ounce. The dollar has lost 0.7% this week against the euro and 1.7% versus the yen on speculation the housing slump in the world's biggest economy is worsening. Gold futures for December delivery touched a 27-year high on the COMEX division of the New York Mercantile Exchange.
Canadian-based Khan Resources has sold its Mongolian Big Bend gold property. The new owner, Belig Mining, reportedly paid $2.5 million. Khan Chief Executive Martin Quick said some time ago that the board of directors of Khan determined that Place Gold Mining did not fit with the company's primary goal of becoming a uranium producer, and the cash sale of Big Bend to Place Gold operator fits with their strategic objectives.
Its mining involves sifting through sand or gravel in stream beds to recover deposits such as gold. Khan continues operating the Donut uranium site in northeastern Mongolia. Following its announcement, Khan shares rose 17%, or 7.4%, closed at $2.47 on the Toronto Stock Exchange.
Now, weather update for big international cities. Please stay tuned. Well, that's it for now from the Friday edition of mmtoda. We'll be back on Monday night. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.